So the next faction we'll take a look at in Silmarillion Total War is the Elves of the Falas, the Falathrim, the Elves that is under the command of Cirdan the Shipwright on the western shores of Beleriand. This is a pretty nice roster. This is a javelin-focused faction that can do a lot of work against single entity units. They also have a lot of decent melee troops and good archers. They have some really nice units in here. Let's not wait. Let's take a look at the units. Let's begin with this one. The Seafarers of Brithomba. This is your first unit. I think it's likely going to be one of the first units you can get. And they look really cool. They look really cool. Look at the design here. They look mighty fine. And they're actually pretty good as well. 8 attack, 16 defense. They are effective against armor as well. So they can really carve through things. And this is one of your first tier units. So they are really good with the effective against armor trait that they do have. Really useful troops all across the board. They're going to be mighty fine to use against heavily armored troops that you might find in different areas of Beleriand. So whenever the campaign releases, recruit them at all times. They can be really useful. And then we have these Marines of Brithomba. They look really cool as well. Look at them. Look at the design here. Really love the greyish color scheme of these units. Let's take a look at their stats. 7 melee attack, 17 defense. They have a 2 missile attack with their javelins. But remember, these javelins, the first one we're looking at now, they are armor-piercing javelins. And they have a lot of ammunition. They have more ammunition than almost every other javelin that you have, I think. So they can throw a long time, and they are armor-piercing. The missile attack is not that high, but they can still do a lot of damage to heavily armored opponents. For example, if you have the troll god of Gottmog running towards you, use these javelins against them, and they should fall eventually. So they have a good, and they have a really good stats as well. Melee attack of 7 and total defense of 17. They can hold their own in melee after they're done with their javelins. That's the thing. These are your first tier elves, and they still have a 7 attack and 17 defense. I mean, they're so good. They're so good. And we have some descriptions as well in these units. So feel free to read these descriptions. Some of the units have descriptions, not everyone do, but some has. Spearman of Brithomba. This is also a javelin unit with a spear as a secondary weapon. They have a 4 attack, 19 defense, so they can really hold the line. Really good at that. Missile attack of 9, but they're not armor piercing. These javelins are not armor piercing. I have not seen that they are armor piercing and it's anywhere, so I don't think they are. But they have a 9 missile attack. They can do a lot of damage to troops with that. Really good javelin unit all across the board here as well. Use it accordingly, and they can use the spear. So they're good against cav and heavily just large entities. It's not the trolls though. Trolls are considered infantry. I'm not sure about the Balrogs. They might be infantry as well, but cavalry they can deal with. And we have the Rangers of Brithomba here. This is your first archer unit you have. 6 attack, 10 total defense. They can use the sharpened stakes, long range missiles, excellent morale. Missile attack of 5. So this is your first archer and they have a missile attack of 5. They can really do damage as well. Your first tier troops are really good as the Falathrim elves. 5 missile attack is nothing to cough away. That's a really good arch unit to enter with. Foresters of Nimbrethil. Now they're actually hiding a bit here, but yeah, let me just I'm just going to run forwards with them a bit here and unpause just to make them stand up. So there we go. These are, I think they're considered halberds. They don't have the ability to use the spear wall, but they are halberdiers, I think, but they're not. Maybe pikes. I'm not exactly sure what these kinds of units are. I think they're halberds or pikes. They don't have the spear wall ability, but they fight like a pike unit or a halberd unit. 7 attack, charge bonus of 12, 15 total defense. I mean, this is your charge unit, but they're not fighting like a charging unit. That's the thing. I think that is something that they might want to change. I'm not sure if this is considered a charger on paper, but it doesn't work it as a charger on the field of battle, because I did test them before and they fought like a pike unit. They're a bonus against cavalry, of course, since they're fighting like a pike or a halberd unit. I'm not exactly. We can take a look at that when the battle begins. But they have a decent stats as well. Good unit. They look really cool. Look at the design here. Looks really good. Oh man, these elves, they look so good. That's it for the first tier troops. The first tier, and let's go to the middle section. And here we have some fancy armor upgrades as well. Let's take a look at this unit. This is your Nobles of Ballar. They look really cool. You're getting kind of an Dol Amrothian vibe on these units. Look at the helmets. Look at those helmets, man. Yeah, they look really cool. Let's take a look at their stats. 11 attack, 22 defense, can form spear wall, bonus fighting cavalry. I mean, these are cavalry killers. They are not armor piercing though, so that is something you need to remember. They won't carve through armor as good as most other halberds might be doing, but they're still really good. 11 attack, 22 defense is really good, so a really solid unit that can hold the line really great as well and keep the enemy at bay. And this is how they look when they have been upgraded. Just look at these units, look at the armor. I mean, yes, just give it to me. I really love this. Yeah, they look mighty fine as well, the armor upgrades. And here we go, we have some archers as well. The Marksman of Ballar. 13 attack, 20 defense, can use sharpened stakes, 7 missile attack. So these are a bit better, 2 more extra in missile attack than your first archers that you did get. Really solid archer unit once again. They can do a lot of damage and they can hold their own in melee as well. So really solid units. And they look cool as well. And this is the upgraded version with the heavy armor that they have here. Also looking so good. Mighty fine archers right there. And then we come to the Marines of Eglarest. These are javelin troops as well. They have a 5 attack, 24 defense. I do believe that they have a spear as their secondary. I'm not sure if their javelins are effective against armor. If these javelins are effective against armor, these javelins are going to carve through everything. 10 missile attack. These javelins are insane. It says that they're effective against armor, so I do believe that they are effective against armor. These units use them against the Balrogs, against the dragons, the entity units, the spiders, every unit that has a lot of hit points, use these javelins against them, and you should bring them down really fast. These units can do so much damage in a short amount of time. They look really cool as well. Look at the design, look at them. The grey and the shield and the helmets, oh, they look so good. And we also have the Warriors of Eglarest coming in this tier. Just a solid sword and board unit with 10 melee attack, 25 defense. They can also use sharpened stakes. I think they're going to change the sharpened stakes. They're likely, because at the moment it feels like almost every unit can use the sharpened stakes. I'm not sure I think that's going to change in the future when the campaign is here. So I think we should take this with a grain of salt, the sharpened stakes ability here. Good sword and board units, absolutely, really solid one. And they can also upgrade. We did actually look at the upgraded version. This is how they look without upgrades, and this is how they look when they have been upgraded. So they're getting a bit more buffed up, it looks like, on the shoulders and on the arms. But that's about it in terms of the upgrades there. And we have a cavalry unit as well in this roster. I'm not sure, I think it's a bit earlier than this tier. It doesn't really fit in this tier, and it doesn't really fit in this tier either, it feels like. But let's take a look at these cavalry units. Gold design, look at the golden design of these units. They look so good. The helmets, it looks like Gondorian helmets, but with golden color scheme on it. Yeah, this definitely looks like Gondorian helmets, but just with the golden touch instead. But they look really good as well. And this cavalry unit is a prolonged melee cavalry unit because they have a 1 charge. 9 attack, 27 defense. They have a bonus fighting cavalry, so really good at fighting cavalry. Prolonged melee cavalry unit that should be able to deal with cavalry really hard. Use them accordingly, use them in that way. You can, of course, go in against skirmishers and archers with them as well. The charge is likely not going to do too much damage, but you can probably defeat archers and javelins really quickly in a prolonged melee fight with them. Solid cavalry unit, absolutely. Really looking great as well. And coming in to your elites then, we have first of all Mariners of Erendil. Yeah, look at these units. Golden helmets, golden shoulders. Look at the helmets. Yeah, they look really good. Let's take a look at their stats as well. 11 attack this time, 29 defense. This is a really good sword and board unit as well. Really powerful, just use them in that way. Hold the line, they can hold the line a long time. They're not going to die quickly, they're going to fight a long time before they die. These kinds of stats, yeah, they're going to fight long and hard. And they look mighty fine as well. Really solid elite unit to start it off with. And then we have another sword and board unit, the Arankir-Lim. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but look, these guys look heavily armored. And I do believe that, they have better stats as well. 12 attack this time, 34 defense. 11 in armor, 15 in defense, skill 8 in shield. Yeah, you have two really powerful melee force units here that you can use. This one being the best in the sword and board section. Use them at all times, whenever you can recruit them and field them whenever the campaign releases. This solid unit, and they look so cool as well. You can actually get them, you can actually upgrade their armor one time, but they didn't get a visual upgrade when you upgrade the armor, so there you know. They look the same when you upgrade their armor. They might change that in the future, but for now they look the same with upgrades, but they look so good as well. And here we have the cream de la cream, the best that Cirdan has to offer. And look at these spears, look at them. Look at these spear units, they look so flippin' insane. Look at the design of these units, they look so great. The helmets, the armor, the shoulders, everything about them is absolutely insanely gorgeous. Can't wait to play with these spears, and their stats reflect that as well. Look at the stats. 10 attack, charge of 8, 40 total defense. They have 2 hit points as well. They can make shield wall. Bonus fighting cavalry, of course. I mean, these guys will never die. If you put them up into shield wall, they are going to hold the line for ages. They're never going to die. They're going to hold the line until the battle is over. They're never going to let anyone through in shield wall. They are insanely powerful, these Erain Efedin, that they're called. Really useful units. I think this might be the general's unit in the future. And if it is the general's unit, then you can count yourself lucky, because this is a spear unit that should be able to do a lot of work against everything. 10 melee attack for a spear is also really great. So a really good spear unit. Absolutely. That's the units of the Falathrim. We do have siege weapons as well to look into. Trebuchet, all of these siege weapons has the warriors of Eglarest as the unit wielding the siege weapons. You're getting these guys. 10 melee attack, 24 defense. These are the units you're getting as the artillery commanders. They can really fight once they're done with their shots. You are getting the ballista, the regular ballista here. You're all used to this, the ballista. You know how it works. It's good. It's really good at destroying things. And you also get the scorpion. Can impale several men. I think the ballista does more damage than this. Yes, it does. But, I mean, the ballista, it's a bit... no, it's cost about the same. Both of them, the scorpion and the ballista are going to be really good at impaling troops. You know that. You have played medieval too, so you know how these things work. And you are getting the regular catapults as well, nothing to show here, just good against troops and buildings. And you also get the trebuchet as the Elves of the Falas. This is your building destroyer. Attack versus buildings 300. So you want to use a trebuchet against castles and cities. It's going to be really good at that. I mean, it's so much better than the catapult. It's only 20 damage against buildings, and this one has 300. So if you want to besiege a heavily fortified castle, use the trebuchet. That's going to make you happy far more than the catapult will. And they cost about the same as well. Alright, and I did forget to show you the upgraded units of Angband in the previous one. There was a few units that did get the upgrade. It was the Iron Shod units. The Iron Shod Reavers here do get an upgrade. This is how they look before, and this is their upgraded look. Look at that, they look so good when they have been upgraded. Look at the helmets. Oh yes, they look really good. And the same with the halberdiers. The Iron Shod halberdiers, they're getting the same upgrade as well, and they look like this. With the helmets and all, really good. And your bladesmen, the Iron Shod sword and board unit, they actually get this one, the first. They can actually upgrade 2 times. So they look like this first, and then they upgrade to the final look, and they look like this. This is also a really good design. I'm not sure which design I like the most. Kind of like this one a lot, but this one is really good as well. It's really clean. This black one. Both look really great. And the wargs had the option to upgrade the arm, but I think they're looking about the same on both of the units. Yes, they look the same. But that's it. Let's take a look at the general as well. We have to take a look and see how the captain looks. This is him. He looks good. He holds a 2-handed sword. He's ready to fight for Cirdan. Let's show these units off a little bit in battle. We have the artillery here, just firing down on the enemy. Doing maximum damage. Let's pull the forces forth and let's destroy everything in our path. Go forwards. Archers, the ones we have, move forwards and annihilate everything that you can. Let's see the javelins. These javelins. Send them forth as well. Yeah, we have an army of Angband here because I really wanted to show you off the upgrades. They have some Balrogs with them as well, some cavalry. Just a pretty weak army, except the Balrogs and the wargs. But I took a lot of these Iron Shod units, and this army should really win against this one. What do we have here? Where are those javelins? I want to see how they throw. This one had the 2 missile attack, but I do believe their range is insanely long. Far longer than any more. Let's use the javelins, all of the javelins against the Balrog. Focus the, no, not the wretches of Angband. Focus the Valorauka. There we go. We're firing on our own troops here almost. Fire on the wargs in the back. Here they come. We're throwing our javelins at them. They're not falling yet. They're gonna do a lot of damage to me before we kill them off. These Valorauka. We're throwing our javelins. Let's see if we can bring them down here with our javelins. We're killing a lot of our own troops, but we are hopefully gonna be able to bring them down, I think, with the javelins. Maybe, no, maybe not actually, because these guys have so many hit points. The Valorauka. They have so many. The oh, there we go. We did actually kill one. I think one of the ballista or catapult actually killed it. We managed to kill it. Here comes the elites. Here comes the elite spearmen of the Falathrim. Here they go, and look at them go. Coming in, destroying everything in their path. I'm expecting them to do that. How is it looking on the Balrogs? Are they still alive? Have we killed all of the Balrogs already? No, they have one Balrog left. The javelins have done their work. Then, that's the thing. Use the javelins like this against the heavily armored Balrogs and single entity units, and you should fare pretty well. with this faction. Angband is likely going to be one of the main factions that almost every good nation fight at some point of the campaign. And the things that you need to take down, the thing that gives Angband its power, are the single entity troops. The Balrogs, the dragons, the trolls and those kinds of things. They have a few decent melee. The bulldogs are really good as well. But the regular troops, the Iron Sword Legionnaires and the Wretches and things like that, they're not that powerful. The Elves are holding the line bravely, fighting off the hordes of Angband. Let's use the Cavalry bits here. Let's charge down into the Wretches of Angband. This is a spear unit, so it's not the best unit to charge, but I'm gonna charge it nonetheless. Anything that isn't doing anything, just go into combat against Angband. Just move in, kill everything in your path. Oh, my general died. Sad day. How did it go on the charge? Did we kill a single one on the charge? I don't think we did, but we are killing them after we've charged. Even though these are spears. We're losing a fair few of our cav here, actually. They can do some damage, these wretches. Here are the foresters. Look, if you look at them, how they fight. No, they might be fighting actually as a... It looks like they're fighting like a pike, but kind of like a two-handed... I'm not sure how they're fighting. It's like a mix of a halberd unit and a spear unit. It looks like they're fighting like a halberd. These spears, or halberds, whatever they are. One thing we know that is that they can do damage. We're likely killing more of our own troops here than we are killing troops of them.
He flees the field of battle.
Yeah, kill everyone. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to play this campaign. With all of these Elven factions, there are like, how many Elven factions are there in this mod? It's like 8 Elven factions. We have the Sons of Fëanor, we have the hidden city of Gondolin as its own faction, we have the forces of Fingolfin and Finarfin, we have the Avari Elves, we have the Elves of Osiriand, we have even Valinor is a faction in this game. I'm not sure how they would implement them in the campaign, probably as a horde faction, but even Valinor is in this game. So you're going to be able to play Valinor as well. With probably some Vanir Elves. But this is going to be it for this episode. I'm not going to record any one straight after. I'm just taking one faction at a time. I'm so used to saying end of this episode, but this is really a series. Let's take a look at the kills quickly before we end this video here. Marksman of Ballar seems to be getting the most kills there. The next unit showcase that I'm doing, I'm not sure yet what kind of faction I'm gonna do. Might be another Elven faction perhaps, because there are so many Elven factions in this game. So, in the meantime, have a great day. Goodbye to you all.